Thank you. So looking at our criteria, and after reviewing your last summative assessment and reviewing the identified process of creation, what are the benefits and instructional concerns regarding performance based assessment? How does that align with what you currently do? How often can it be done? When should it be done? Take some time and talk to the colleagues that you are working with during this training. Please press pause on the video and we will then return when you are ready. Thank you. So again, when we are designing a performance task, again, we start with the goal in mind. Then what tasks will be needed to accomplish this goal? Here again, you see when you're talking about the design process on page 53, some other associated UbD terms, um, the 6 facets of knowledge, Webb's DOK. Again, right? Words matter. Are you asking them to recite, more of a level 1, versus create, more of a level 4? Words matter, designs matter, your planning process matters. Differentiate the task as needed. And again, that's just not a special education concern. That goes back to Carol Ann Tomlinson. I hope as we go through this process that you and I are making the same connections on how UbD is not a standalone process, on how UbD integrates with Daggett's rigor and relevance framework, how UbD integrates with Webb's depth of knowledge, how UbD integrates with Carol Ann Tomlinson's differentiate instruction. And again, when we're looking to differentiate the task as needed, that's going to depend upon the readiness level of the learner, the learning profiles, and the interest inventories. And of course, as with any good plan, we know and we should expect revision. Let's now look at specifically Webb's depth of knowledge and performance verbs on page 57. So you have on your screen Webb's depth of knowledge directly related to UbD and the 6 facets of understanding from explain, interpret, apply, perspective, empathy, and knowledge. For me and with Webb's depth of knowledge, again, being a visual learner, it's very easy for me to look at that depth of knowledge and to think that words do matter and exactly what am I trying to accomplish? Am I trying to just do recall, reproduction, who, what, where, when? Are we working towards some strategic thinking in a level 3? How can you use it? What can you use? Are we looking at extended thinking, i.e., the impact or the relationship? In a very simple way to meet those things when you are looking at your planning is what words are you choosing? Again, if we're trying to recognize, if we're trying to tell, or if we're trying to state, or are we telling them to cite evidence? So, cite evidence, a task that would come right away to me and cite evidence would be our text dependent analysis. So we are working towards strategic thinking. Are we telling them to create? Are we telling them to design? So again, when you think about creation, when you think about design, some performance tasks jump right out at you, be they in art or be they a career in tech initiative or some um, uh, content area like that. But certainly we can create and certainly we can design within science, within math, within social studies. Again, I always refer to the area that I'm most comfortable with my social studies training, in that, okay, if there's a problem, take on being the task of a legislator right now in America, right now in our state, wherever, whatever level you might wish to have the problem solved. What piece of legislation might you propose that you think would address a problem? Is there a cost associated with that? So, again, this idea of creation, of design, this idea of climbing to Webb's depth of knowledge level 4, this idea of incorporating the 6 facets of understanding, it's all integrated into how we design our instruction. So I encourage you to have the Webb's depth of knowledge handy in your planning. And I encourage you to look and choose your words wisely. When we say what knowledge do we want them to have and what skills do we want them to do, we need to take what we've learned in level 1 and how are we going to get it to a level 4 activity by applying those concepts, those transfer of knowledge. So let's now look at pages 60 to 64. What I would like you to do at this time on pages 60 through 64 is let's take some time and look at performance tasks examples from different content areas, from different levels. So again, performance tasks are not simply a high school activity, a career and tech activity. Obviously, in some ways, at the primary levels, K1 and 2, a lot of what you are assessing are performance task activities. So I want you to look at the examples on page 60 through 64. Take some time with your group and then discuss some observations and takeaways. I would like you to pause the video at this time and then return when you're ready to continue. Thank you. So, what were some of your takeaways? Are you able to balance the desire for authenticity with the need to assess in the manner of the test? Are they mutually exclusive? Can they be combined? Can they be integrated? Maybe not all the time, but certainly more rather than less. All right, let's look now at page 65 in your book relative to constructing a performance task scenario using the GRASPS framework. So, again, GRASPS is another acronym. And what does it stand for? What is your goal? What is the role? What is the audience? What is the situation? What is the product? And how will you measure success? So, using that tool on page 65, I would like you to create an outline of a performance task within your curriculum. This may take some time, so please pause the video. Please work in your groups with your colleagues to try and complete this construction of a performance tasks using the GRASP scenario. Certainly, you have done performance tasks in the past, but what I'm asking you to do here is again look down to the minutia and look down to the process. And does this process help your already creative processes? Is this process maybe something you want to now incorporate? So take some time and construct a performance test scenario using grasps. I ask you to pause the video at this time and then return when you're ready. Thank you. So again, performance tasks are not mutually exclusive to a content area or grade level. They can be done K to 12. They can be done across content areas as well. And again, I think always we need to keep in mind what constitutes success. How will you know that they have done it and that they have done it well? So, on page 73, task variables, from time frame to discipline to student choice, so forth and so on, to evaluation of student product. What I would like you to do on page 73 and in your groups, I would like you to use your grasp draft and now compare it to the task variables on page 73. Take some time, do this reflection, discuss it amongst yourselves, press pause on the video, and then return for some concluding remarks. Thank you. So, as I reflect on day one, as I reflect on day two, we are well within our journey. And I believe the benefit of having these videos available to you will be that you can go back and reflect and rehear part of a training. I also think that the associative book that comes with it, the Understanding by Design Principles and Practices, is again another resource. We are well on our way on our journey to complete this training and then to turn the faculty loose to start designing our curriculum in a UbD format. Again, with standards and big ideas explored through essential questions, assessed through performance tasks and authentic assessments, and designing those learning plans with those ends in mind. And I don't think there's any perfect way to design a scenario. I don't think there's any perfect way to design a lesson plan. We're not saying that you have to do the lesson plan design with the template provided, but it's a resource. We're not saying you have to design your performance task scenario with grass, but it's a resource. But we are saying the following, that if the curriculum design is an understanding by design format, that big curricular umbrella. When we boil it down to instruction, do we have the rigor and the relevance that meets the needs of the learner? Daggett. Are we designing our lessons with the understanding of moving from a level one DOK, state or tell, to a level four, create, design, solve? And in the meantime, understanding where our students are relative to their readiness, where our students are relative to how they learn, their learning profiles, and where our students are relative to their interests. Sounds like a lot because it is. And if you have been doing this and you've been doing this well for 1, 5, 10, 20, 30 years, Perhaps it has not had these labels, but the work has definitely been done. I want to thank you for your attention for these first 2 days. I look forward to our third and final day of training. I encourage you to visit the resources on our curriculum hub. I encourage you to utilize our graphic organizers. And again, not only do you have a graphic organizer for your performance task scenario, but you also have a graphic organizer for your grasp assignment. And these are available in the classroom. These are available on the UbD Curricular Hub. All of you have received at least one hard copy, and you can make several more. And they're also available in 8.5 by 11. Your work is appreciated. Your attention is appreciated. I hope you are getting what you need out of this training. And again, I look forward to our third and final day of training for this UBD curricular design, setting the platform that we all have the same nomenclature, we all have the same understanding, we all have the same expectations, and we are moving forward within the Laurel School District. Remember, we are reigniting instruction this year.